Hi guys, it's John from Android Addicts with another speed comparison test between the Exynos 2100 and the Snapdragon 888. So these have both had the May update installed. They're both the standard Galaxy S21, and this is just an update to my previous video where we did a speed test going through various apps and games to see which of these phones is the fastest. So we're starting off with the boot test here, and the fastest boot there was the Snapdragon. So we can see here that both phones are completely free of any open apps, and they are set up exactly the same here. So you can see here in the top right of both phones we have the thermal monitor floating widget, so this is just showing the system temperature on both phones. Currently the Exynos is at 29 and the Snapdragon at 28. Now I'm just going to wait for all the services to load up on both phones before we proceed, but basically what I'm going to do is just run down the set of apps here, open them up and just see which one opens faster. We're then going to do some video editing or encoding on the gallery app down here, and then we'll move on to the game tests and see how they both perform. And we will then finish with a speed test just to see how fast the Wi-Fi is working on both these phones. So the points being awarded will be for the first phone to open and fully render the app. So if we open YouTube and it opens faster here but displays everything faster over here, then the point will be awarded to the Exynos and vice versa. Now you may be wondering what these USB connectors are. Basically this is going to allow me to control the clicking on the phones with a mouse, as you can see here. So I had a few comments in my previous video saying that I was a fraud and it was all completely wrong and I was pressing on one phone quicker than the other. And to be honest, that's just human error. You can't really ever get around that. But what I've done is invested in an extremely expensive tool here, which is two mice stuck together with some sellotape and a ruler connecting the left mouse clicks. So we can see when I click on the mouse, both phones are pressing at exactly the same time. So this is what I'm going to be doing to start the loading of apps. I'm not going to bother using it for switching between apps because that's just completely pointless. But for the actual main loading of the apps, I'll be using these mice to select them. Okay, so both phones are ready to go. I'm going to go through the apps first, like I said. We'll then do some memory management and just see which phone keeps the app in memory better. We'll then move on to video editing and then the gaming test. I have put the time code in the description if you want to skip to any particular section of this video. And if you enjoy this video, please do click on the subscribe button as that really helps out. But anyway, on with the test. Let's see how they get on. Okay, so we've gone through opening all the apps now, so we're going to go through the memory management and just see which ones are still in memory. There'll only be a point awarded if one phone has it in memory and the other doesn't. Okay, so I would say the Snapdragon was slightly better there with its memory management for the apps. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do some video encoding in the gallery. Okay, so I've got this 2-minute video clip here in the gallery and I'm going to edit it on both. It's the exact same clip on both phones. And what we're going to do, we're just going to apply a filter to it. Same filter, and then we're just going to export it and just see how long it takes to export on both phones. So it's just a standard 4K 30 FPS video. And what I will do is actually click it with the mouse as well, which will make sure we are exactly on the same level. Okay, so the Snapdragon has won here by about 14 seconds or so. It was much faster at processing. Now temperature-wise, they're around the same, 38 and 39. But yeah, it's interesting to see how much quicker the Snapdragon was in that test compared to the Exynos. Okay, so just for fun, I'm going to turn on enhanced processing now on both phones, and we'll just see how much time it takes to edit the video. This is the original one again. We'll just apply a different filter to it this time. Just go for warm, and we'll just see how long this one takes to complete as well with enhanced processing. Okay, so this time it has helped very slightly increase the speed on both, but it's still a major win there for the Snapdragon overall. So I'm going to turn enhanced processing off now, and I'm just going to let the phones cool down a bit because they've gotten quite warm here. They're at 38 and 39, so I'm going to move on to the gaming test after they've cooled down. Okay, so we're back down to a more normal temperature here, so I'm just going to clear out of everything we've done, and we're going to go into the gaming test. So we're going to start off here with PUBG. Now I have got this set to smooth and extreme on both phones. I will just confirm the settings once it's loaded. Okay, so on smooth and extreme here, we can select Ultra HD on the Snapdragon, but we cannot select it on the Exynos. But we're going to go in with smooth and extreme on both, and everything else is set exactly the same. And I'm just going to go into the training mode on both, and we'll just see how long it takes to load up. So it's a lot quicker there on the Snapdragon, so that's a win for the Snapdragon. So now we're going to go into our next game, COD Mobile. very slightly quicker to get into the main menu on the Exynos. So I'm going to load into a multiplayer mode. A second, I'll just show you the settings here on both. So previously we couldn't select very high and max on the Snapdragon, but we can now do that, so that's good. But we're going to go into low and max, and everything else is exactly the same, and just see how long they take to get into a bot match with the AI. So we're on the same map here, we're on Nuketown, Russia. Now this game doesn't allow you to use the mouse, you can't click on anything here, so I'm going to start it with my fingers. So I'm going to hold it down both and then just lift off. Let's load that first on the Exynos. Now I'm not quite sure why it took so long to start up on both. I haven't seen it take that long to get to the initial loading screen, but either way, the Exynos did get there a tiny bit before the Snapdragon. So now we're just going to check out the memory management here and see if PUBG is still in memory, which it is. Go back to COD, and we're still there. Okay, next up is the big game, which is Genshin Impact. So we're going to go into there. Now this is set to the lowest settings and 60 FPS, and I've moved the characters to the exact same teleport location, so it should be a reasonably fair test when we click to load into the game. So Snapdragon winning that one as well. Exynos not too far behind, but it was noticeably slower on the Exynos. And just to confirm that they both do have the same graphic settings. Lowest and 60. Okay, so let's just check out the memory management. Is PUBG still there? It's still there on the Snapdragon, so that's a point for the Snapdragon. I'm going to quit out to the main menu now because the Exynos is in the main menu and that's not a fair test in comparison. So we're now back in the main menu on both. So we'll just check if COD Mobile is still there. So it's quit out on the Exynos and it is still there, but it has timed out on the Snapdragon, so that's another point for the Snapdragon. Okay, and now we're just going to see if Genshin Impact is still there on both, which it is. Okay, next up is Fortnite. We can see here the Exynos is at 39 degrees, Snapdragon's only at 36 degrees. So it loaded a bit quicker there on the Exynos. Now I've got it set to low and 60 on both. Now this is another game where we can't use the mouse to click on the screen, so I'm just going to use my finger again for this. I'm just loading into the tutorial level so we don't have to wait for any servers. So there we have it, a bit quicker there on the Snapdragon, so the point gets awarded to the 888. Okay, so I'm now just going to check and we'll see if Genshin Impact is still there on both phones. That's definitely a no, so it didn't even try and load up on the Snapdragon. I'll get back to the start screen here on both and then we'll try COD Mobile on PUBG. So PUBG's gone from both. And COD Mobile has also gone from both. Okay, so next up is the speed test here. Now these are both on the same 5 GHz Wi-Fi network. So I'll just run 3 tests on each and we'll just see which one comes out best. Now my max internet speed is around 60. Down and about 20 or 18 or 19 up. So anything above 50 is pretty good. Okay then, so looking at the last 3 set of test results here, I would say that the Snapdragon is the winner here. It had 53, 54, 55 compared to 54, 50, 53. Upload speed wise, the Exynos was sort of a consistent 17, whereas the Snapdragon was a tiny bit below the first test, a bit over, but then quite a lot under on the last test. But overall, I'd say that's a win for the Snapdragon. Okay, so that is the end of the test, and I'm quite impressed really with the Snapdragon. There wasn't a huge amount in it last time, to be honest. I think the Exynos only won by a couple of points, but the Snapdragon this time has definitely shown it that it can and has beaten the Exynos 2100. So like I said, they're both running the May update here, so they're as fair can be. And to be honest, in general, everyday use, you're not actually going to ever notice these minor differences that we're testing here. This is just a bit of fun. It's not going to be, I'm not saying that the Exynos 2100 is dead or the Snapdragon is rubbish. It's just a bit of fun to see which phone performs better. So I think next year will be quite interesting because obviously we've got AMD coming to help out with the next GPU for the Exynos 2200. So I think that's good. I'm not saying I want Qualcomm to die, but it's good for Qualcomm to be kept on their toes, to be always improving the Adreno, because this year's Adreno maybe not as efficient as last year's, I'm not sure. It does seem to get a lot warmer, certainly in the S21 here. But yeah, to have competition is always a good thing. And without it, you'd be using an iPhone, wouldn't you, basically, because there would be no competition. So let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Are you excited for the AMD chip next year? I certainly am. I think it's good to finally put the Mali GPU to bed and just start afresh with a brand new GPU. So I think it's going to be very interesting next year as to what sort of results we see between these two. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you did, because the next test we're going to be doing is the benchmark test to see whether the May update has helped in the benchmark department. After that, we'll also be doing another camera test just to see whether the camera updates have improved for the Exynos, because it was quite abysmal last time. So yeah, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the like button if you enjoyed this video. And again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.